Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, Scott Bakula's been doing some press for an Abraham Lincoln play he's been doing, and while doing that he was asked about Star Trek. He didn't say much we haven't heard before, or nothing particularly interesting, just that it was a privilege to do the show, that when fans love the show, it's a great marriage between the actors and the fans, but when they don't like the show, it's very difficult because they're very particular, and the things about Enterprise people didn't like the theme song and the dog and so forth, but ultimately it was a great experience. And he did also talk earlier in the year about how had Star Trek Enterprise been on, well, had it been called Star Trek Enterprise in the first place, but if Enterprise had been on run through syndication instead of on UPN, it would have gone for 7 years like Voyager and Deep Space Nine and Next Gen. Now, Voyager was also on UPN. It had a slightly easier time, but it still struggled. And had they both been in syndication, they would have had a much easier run. They would have done much better, would have had bigger audiences, and the show would have got 7 years. And that's true because it was cancelled because of studio politics. You know, that's not about ratings or anything, or fans or popularity. It was purely a matter of them breaking up Viacom and Paramount, and the rights being severed from UPN, so they no longer were getting the benefits of the back end of the show, which sort of paid for having it on the air without a lot of viewers and a lot of advertising dollars. So it's just a lot of stuff like that. So that was interesting. But what I ended up thinking about when I was looking at this was my own disappointment with the character. When I first saw pictures of him and that he was going to be the new captain of the new show, I was a bit confused. I'm like, what is he going to do that's different? How is this captain going to be different or special? Because they started off with the all-American sort of Captain Kirk, and then they went with the British intellectual who didn't go on away missions, and then they went with the single black father, and then they went with the female scientist. Each time they did something new and different, and they were pushing the boundaries because people were like, oh, you can't have a black male leading an action series? And of course you can. And then they're like, oh, you can't have a woman leading an action series? And of course you can. And then I thought, well, what are they going to do? And I thought, oh, he's going to be gay. Because I remember seeing Scott Bakula in American Beauty playing the gay neighbour, and I thought he was, as an actor, gay. Apparently he's not. Apparently he's married and everything. So I just thought he was going to be gay. And I thought, of course, that's the only thing they can do with this character that's going to be interesting, because they can't just have like a straight white male leading the show, because that's been done before. They need to do something different, have some edge to it. But there was a fairly famous article back in the day called, it was like titled "No Queers Up Here," and it made it clear that he wasn't gay and there was no gay characters in the new cast or on the show. And that was very disappointing, because for years we'd wanted a gay character in Star Trek, and there'd been talk about it, talk of things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen. And I was really disappointed, because I thought that's the only way they could have made the character really interesting. Now, that being said, he was the everyman, and what they wanted was they wanted someone people could relate to. And they wanted people who wouldn't normally watch Star Trek to relate to him and watch the show and be drawn in. And that did work. I saw my friend's boyfriend, who never liked Star Trek and never listened to me when I said it was good. He saw a few episodes late at night just by chance, and he actually got it. It's like, wow, I was really surprised. I always thought Star Trek was about aliens and people with ray guns and silly starships and things. And I was watching the show about this guy, and his dog was sick, and I just realised that this is about, it's a drama. It's just a human drama based in space in the future. And it finally got Star Trek. I'm like, wow, okay. So it did work on some level, having, this character created like this, but I still think he could have been gay, or at least they could have made someone else in the cast gay. There was talk of Dominic Keating's character, Malcolm, being gay, but that didn't happen either. And so I don't know. I haven't met Scott Bakula, who's the only captain I haven't actually met. I also haven't met Cisco, because I hear Avery Brooks, from a friend of mine, is a huge homophobic a-hole. So he had a bad experience with him, so I didn't really feel the need to meet him after that. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I was told. And technically I didn't meet Leonard Nimoy. I was in a room of people who did a view screen conference call with him. We waved to him, and people got to ask questions and that. So he saw me, but I didn't actually get to speak to him. But I feel like I met him after we spent an hour sort of with him, talking and that, and people asking questions and all that. But I've met most of the captains. I haven't met Bacula. I wish I had. He seems like a nice guy. He was on the decon chamber or shuttle pod, whatever, with Malcolm and Trip. So he seems like a nice guy, and I wouldn't mind meeting him. But yeah, I was always disappointed that he wasn't gay. But his character did work. The show did work. It's underrated. It's great, and it's getting a lot more respect now. And now a lot of shows don't even get more than a couple series, and even if they do, they've only got 8 episodes. You know, Enterprise is 98 episodes in 4 years is actually looking quite impressive in the streaming age and era. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of, the idea of, should Archer have been gay? Did the character need something else, or was just being the everyman enough?